dress provocative. And they have told you because your Versace dress, Versace was part of the Marine Kingdom. You don't, listen to me, go and study Versace. I talked about Medusa earlier. Do you know the logo for Versace is Medusa? Look at the owner and what the owner say, why he chose Medusa as the logo. I'm trying to show you something, but I'm trying to take you to another level to where God is explaining to us the mysteries of the kingdom. How did he develop his clothes? Who gave him the knowledge? And everybody at some point was wearing Versace. Didn't know that there were seducing spirits from the Marine Kingdom behind it. Hear me. Where did I tell us to go? It's only here, Genesis chapter 41. Thank you, Holy Spirit. I ain't got no help in here. Genesis chapter 41. This is why people are visited in the dreams, because they know that we are not equipped to fight and handle it in that realm, so they visit us. And I'm trying my best to stay at a simplistic place. Okay. If someone sleeps with you in a dream, my question to you, without any physical person physically in your dreams, how does that dream have you to excruciate fluids? No physical body, but the excruciation of fluids have taken place. Maybe you may not understand what I'm saying because I'm using that term. They call them wet dreams. How does that take place? And it appears to be so real, and it's only a dream. How does your body function to where your body releases fluids because of a dream? What happened in that dream to where your body will respond naturally to it? You don't understand how the marine kingdoms work. Now, if I start telling you this, you're going to have to stay with me. You thought you were having a good time. Do you know that this truly happened without your consent? You know what that means? If something happens without your consent, it means you were raped. And why did they come to you in the first place in the dream? What was the purpose of them? Listen, if you have sex in the Bible, automatically it causes a covenant, and that person becomes your spouse. Watch this. So some people are not married because they're already married spiritually. They have never broke the covenant, never broke the marriage. It has never been annulled. You still have rings on your fingers, rings on your hand, to where someone, yes, spoke wedding vows over your life because you enacted in sex in a dream and you didn't know that you brought that thing into reality. And if you try to marry anyone outside of your spiritual spouse, you'll find that the person can get sick, that a person can die. Yes, that a person would lose their job. They'll destroy that marriage, and we are not prepared for what has been established by these spirits from the marine kingdom called incubus and succubus, which means husbands, spiritual husbands, and spiritual wives. We are not aware of it because we don't know that what happens in the dream realm, you can bring it into the natural realm, and you don't know how to fight in that realm. Genesis 41. And it said, and it came to pass at the end of the 2 full years that Pharaoh dreamed, and behold, he stood by the river. Watch this. And behold, there came out of the river 7 well-favored kine and fat flesh, And they fed in the meadow, and behold, a seven other kind came out of the river, ill-favored and lean-fleshed, and stood by the other kind upon the brink of the river. And the ill-favored and the lean-fleshed kind did eat up the seven well-favored and fat kind. So Pharaoh awoke, and he slept and dreamed the second time. And behold, the 7 ears of corn came up upon one stalk, ranked of good. And behold, the 7 thin and blasted with the east wind sprung up after them. And the 7 thin ears devoured the 7 rank and full ears. And Pharaoh woke up, and behold, it was in a dream. Watch this. Where did those cows come from? I'm trying to give us an understanding how things can come out of one realm into this realm. Okay? Where did the cows come from? It said they came from the river. Well, what is so significant about the river? Why would God give Pharaoh a dream about the river or the water? You remember when Moses went to Egypt. What was the first thing that God did and told Moses? He told him to smite the waters with his rod, and the waters became blood, because Pharaoh was consorting with the marine kingdom. Yes, whatever lies in that river, Pharaoh was consorting with it. If you think I'm exaggerating or telling you a lie, go to Ezekiel chapter 29. Ezekiel chapter 29. In the 10th year, first verse 1, in the 10th month, in the 12th day of the month, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and prophesy against him and against all Egypt. Speak and say, Thus saith the Lord, Behold, I am against thee, Pharaoh, king of Egypt, the great dragon that lies in the midst of the river. Everything that Pharaoh did, God would always tell Moses that when in before daybreak, go before Pharaoh, because Pharaoh would always come and consult the God of the waters, the dragon that lied in the waters. Do you know, in this end time, that one of the things that we have to deal with is the beast that comes out of the water. It's part of the marine kingdom. To give you an idea of what I'm saying, that once they captivate the attention of an individual, they arrest their minds. If they arrest your imagination, you're forever bound. To give you an example, how they train elephants in the circus. They place chains on one elephant on his foot. And when the elephant cannot break away from the chain, cannot get free, then what it does, it breaks the mind, which is the spirit of the elephant. So even when they take the chain off, his mind has already been broken. His spirit has already been broken. He's already thinking that he'll never have the liberty to be set free again. So he stays, and they no longer have to bring chains. So when the marine kingdom come, the first thing that their intentions is to break in the mind and hold the mind captive. What's the mind? The mind is the creative part of a being. Yes, the mind is what a person does. So if the mind is broken, so is the soul. What's inside of the soul is the mind, the imagination, and the will, which develops the character of the individual. So the marine kingdom's main objective is to arrest the mind. Okay? I know you may think that I'm playing. Okay. Go to 2 Corinthians chapter 10. Now, I like this verse because it explains in details. Let's go to verse 2 Corinthians. I don't know how I went to Matthew. 2 Corinthians. Let's go in verse 5. If you have not learned how to do this, cast down imaginations. Watch this. In every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God. Watch this. And bringing into captivity every thought. So how the marine kingdom fights you is they captivate you with thoughts. This is why it's real difficult to step away from pornography. Yes, they are behind pornography. They're behind stimulating your flesh. And many people do not have an idea or understanding that when you open those doors, many marriages have failed because of pornography. Why? Because we've read scriptures and don't understand the power of the marine kingdom. They said in scriptures that the bedroom is undefiled, but you're bringing a kingdom into your bedroom. Watch this. And you are being seduced by marine agents, and these people are just actors. So you want to act out your fantasy by watching people, but don't know that they are trying to captivate your thought. And you cannot now cast the imagination down because you can't even perform without the pornography. Go back to Judges chapter 16 and we'll conclude it. I told you there are mermen and there are merwomen. The challenge with us is we struggle to believe how this kingdom function and operate and exist. We see through the life of Samson that she never slept with him. But she just captivated his imagination to where he couldn't cast down the imagination, not understanding that he was now married and he would reveal all of his secrets and reveal his weakness. Remember, Samson's struggle or covenant with God was his hair. His strength lied in his covenant. The marine kingdom looks for individuals to share everything that's in their heart and to explain or tell their weakness, and your strength is in your covenant that you made with God. And so many people are falling victim because they are revealing everything that's in their heart, and they're revealing it to someone that's part of the marine kingdom. So failure takes place. Judges chapter 16, verse 23. This is after they had captured Samson and they took out his eyes. They begin to make sport of Samson. Please hear this. And the Lord of the Philistines gathered them together for to offer a great sacrifice unto Dagon. Dagon was one of the gods they worship. If you do any studying on Dagon, the name Dagon, it means small fish, right? But when you look at the idol or the statue of the god that they created called Dagon, Dagon, his upper torso from his waist to his head was that of a man. But from his torso down was that of a fish. This was one of the first mermen that we see scripturally that was a god in a country called the Philistines. It was one of the first times that we can see, hear me, that this country would take the Ark of the Covenant, which represented the presence of God. They would defeat one of the ones who was chosen for that generation. And when the marine kingdom come, they're coming after those who God have chosen to be anointed, chosen as he appointed them, chosen to be one of the very elect, chosen to be the one that would come and run the generation that would defeat the enemy. But the marine kingdom came at some kind of capacity, and they defeated them when they were supposed to be the light of that generation. As Samson was the light of that generation, he was called to rule as the son is called to rule today. He was called to rule. He was called to rule today. And we've had so many preachers fall to pornography. We've had so many preachers fall to this kingdom that they were defeated because they could not cast down the imagination. The marine kingdom held them captive in their minds. The marine kingdom specialized in the captivity of your imagination. There was a secular song that said this: your mind is here with me, your body's here with me, but your mind is on the other side of town. That you can be in two places at one time. The marine kingdom divides you. That your mind could be at another place, but your body can be physically here. You know how to travel. They said, the Lord of the Philistines gathered themselves and offered a great sacrifice unto Dagon, which was a merman, half fish, half man. And to rejoice, for they said, our God has delivered Samson, our enemy, into our hands. If we do not take it serious, you do know the end time battle is against the marine kingdom. Everything comes out of the waters. We truly don't know. Neither do we understand this battle with this kingdom. I told you once that this kingdom covers 70% of the earth. 70% of the earth that this kingdom has control. Has control. My prayer for us is this when it comes to this kingdom. Elijah, the prophet, the one who called down fire, he had to deal with the marine kingdom even in his day. I'll explain it and then we'll conclude it. Remember in 1 Kings chapter 17, Elijah would pray that there would be no rain. He said, as I stand before the Lord thy God, there shall be no rain, nor dew, but by my words. And he left. That this was one of the indictments against the marine kingdom. Jezebel served the God through their coast, yes, waters. this was an indictment that for 3.5 years, 3.5, that waters would dry up. First Kings chapter 18. God will tell Elijah, now come out of hiding and go and tell Ahab there's going to be rain. Elijah tells Ahab there's going to be rain, but there is no rain. Why? The marine kingdom does not just abide or reside in just the waters that are on the earth. They can abide and reside about the waters that are in the heavens. Do you know how clouds are formed? Clouds are formed through water droplets. And when the clouds have enough water within those waters, in the clouds, droplets in the clouds, then that's when it begins to rain. Can I give you I'm going to go back to Genesis chapter 1. God said, where did the cloud or the firmaments or the heavens come from? They came from the waters. He said, and God separated the waters from the earth from the waters that was above. So the marine kingdom have access. So where storms come from are from the earth, which from the waters from below and the waters that are above. God would give Elijah the strategy. Let me tell you this. What is one of the strategies against the marine kingdom? It is the fervency of prayer. Now, when the Bible says that we should pray without ceasing, that we should pray without ceasing. So if we pray without ceasing, Elijah would stay in a fetal position, like he's giving birth to something. Something has to give birth, but anything that gives birth, it takes place through prayer. The steadfastness of prayer. In the book of James, it would make a statement and gives us a reference. It said Elijah was a like man, just like us. He prayed earnestly for rain. So if you're going to pray against the marine kingdom, it cannot be a one-time, a two-time, a three-time, a four-time event. It said he prayed earnestly, which means he did not stop until he saw his results. And I'm telling you this today, that if you're going to contend with the marine kingdom, this is not a one-time event. You'll be fighting until you go home. This is a battle. You'll be fighting until you go home. It said Elijah told his servant, go up 7 times. Watch this. And God would give him the strategy because he was being fought from the heavens that no water would come down. Notice in chapter 17 that when he prayed, immediately the results came, but when he would pray and give the proclamation of God, that proclamation was being fought by the things that was in the heavens. And he would pray, even though God said it, but there was powers that was in the heavens, yes, that will prohibit from the rain from even coming, that would bring people into a drought. And Elijah would get up on his knees and he would pray fervently. And if you are going to deal with this kingdom, you're going to have a fervent prayer life. I want you to hear me. And the strategy that God will show him. In 1 Kings chapter 18, his servant said, I see a cloud, watch this, coming from the sea. God, in Genesis chapter 1, as I read earlier, he would have the clouds separate from the water and go into the firmaments. He separated separated the waters from the firmaments. The firmaments represented heaven, the second heavens. God would give him the same strategy, that how he would create the heavens, how he would create the clouds, and that cloud would come from the sea, and water would now be dispersed. Samson, with all of his authority, with the power that God would give him, the marine kingdom would trick him. My prayer for us today is that you will not be deceived by this kingdom, because they look to find some type of weakness in you. They look to find some kind of weakness in your flesh. This is why in the book of James, in James chapter 1 and verse 14, it said, every man is tempted and drawn away and enticed by his own lust. When lust is conceived, it brings forth sin. And when sin, when it is finished, it brings forth death. The marine kingdom looks to establish covenants through your imagination and your mind. It's their main objective. Watch this. And even though Samson's hair would grow back and he would destroy more Philistines in his death than in his existence, but the marine kingdom would have victory because he would die, and there would be no more judge for a while. Because of the marine kingdom. Please hear me. You must understand that countries you go to have covenants with this kingdom. The water is already dedicated. Souvenirs that you go to, little seashells, little trinkets with water in it, you don't know it's part of the marine kingdom. You don't know and understand that God is trying to educate us, equip us for this battle with this kingdom. I told you your elevation in God. Elevation only comes through revelation. It's through the revelation of heaven that you elevate. In my prayer today, that your eyes will open, that God now enlightens the eyes of your understanding, that your eyes are now open. If you didn't dedicate those waters, why get in it? But my question to us is this. If you knew someone peed in the pool, would you get in it? No, you wouldn't, because those waters would be contaminated. Why do we think that we can go anywhere and get in any waters, and we never ask God, were these waters dedicated to you? Who have these waters been dedicated to? Watch this. I'm going to say this, and I want us to hear it. Do you know where 90% of our storms come from? 90. On an alarming rate, where do the storms come from? If you look at our storms, many of them come from the coast of Africa. How do those storms make it and increase over bodies of water to the United States to cause chaos and destruction? You don't know this is a part of the marine kingdom? How are they formed close to the continent of Africa and make it to the United States? How? It's because of the marine kingdom. Be careful allowing your children to participate in things under the waters. The Little Mermaid. Be real careful. It's not what you think. I know they may look cute. Watch this. Even SpongeBob SquarePants, the whales under the waters. Be careful allowing your children to establish covenants with deities and beings under the water because they come in a cartoon fashion. No. Listen, I thank you for tuning in today to part 5 of the Marine Kingdom. See you next week on Christ is King. And please, don't do all that.